Hello, Gary Simon of DesignCourse.com. Today we're going to add the decals to the ballot box, and we're also going to set up the scene and work a little bit more on other various aspects of the poster design. All right, so check out DesignCourse.com if you haven't yet, and subscribe here on YouTube. All right, let's get started.
All right, so this is where we left off from yesterday's tutorial, and we focused solely on this ballot box and UV unwrapping it and making the wood here in Photoshop. So now what I want to do is add some decals to this thing to make it look a little bit more realistic. All right, so I'm going to switch back to Photoshop here, and this is where we left off with the ballot-uv.png. What we want to do is, by the way, is save as, and I'm going to save this in the latest project folder, which, let me go to recent, 28, ballot-uv.psd. Always a good idea to save the PSD, so if you want to make changes to it in the future, you can. Let's bring back the UV layer just so we can see what's going on here. This is the front. So the front corresponds to this portion right here. So what I want to do is put a decal on this, and I'm going to just make it every vote counts. Oh, God. And so we're going to switch over here back to Photoshop, and I'm going to zoom up a bit just so we can see a little bit better. And I'm going to use the type tool and just left click and just put in every, and I'm going to hit enter and then just space a few times, vote, space a few times more, counts with an exclamation point. Control T, hold shift and scale that sucker up like that. Except this looks like crap, so we're going to make some more adjustments. All right, so I have to find the correct font, so let me pause real quick. All right, so the font is called Artbrush, and I believe it's free. So if you just go to Google and type in Artbrush font, if you want to use the same font as me, you don't have to. Then you can just go ahead and download that real quick. So I'm gonna fix the spacing a little bit, make it like right around there. And then I'm going to select this option right here. And this is warp text, so we can warp this, and you can have all these different things. You make it like a wave, which looks like crap, although you can change the settings like that. But I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use arc, and then, no, I don't like that one bit. I think I'm going to use arch this way. And this can take a little bit of finessing. I'm going to experiment with this and pause it just so that I can get the right setting here. All right, so I paused, I came back. This is the setting I'm going to use. It's plus 35, negative 18, plus 18, right around there. Hit OK, and then hit Control T, and we'll kind of just skew it slightly like that. Hit OK. And if you want to adjust the line height between, because like right here, every and vote is kind of close to each other, and then we have vote and counts a little bit further away. What you can do is if we select vote and we go to window character or click right here if it's available there, and the line height right here we can experiment with. Like that. Now it's a little bit more even between the three words. All right, so what I want to do now is apply what is called a few strokes. So what we can do is I'm going to hide the UV just for now, and I'm going to change, I want to make this so that it is red, white, and blue, just for the US theme, I guess you could say. So red, white, and blue. Wait, red, white, and blue. Let me check the pre-image real quick, the one that I created. Yeah, I think that's right. So we want the text to be blue. And so we'll come out here, just choose a blue color like that. Double click on the right side of the layer to bring up the layer styles. And then we'll choose stroke. And its positions outside by default, which is good. And we'll come up here around 9 pixels. We're going to make this white. Hit OK. And then we're going to duplicate it. Right click to duplicate the layer, or I'm going to use my shortcut key. And the one beneath it, double click on stroke, and we're going to make this one even larger. And I'm going to make this red. There we go. All right, so now if we take both of these layers, let's go ahead and group them, Control G with both of them selected. And I'm just going to rename it real quick to every vote counts. We can use a layer blend mode set on the group. So if you click this and then click it again, you can see it's blue and it's highlighted. So now you can use your arrow keys, hit the down arrow key to go through these, just so we can get a potential blend mode that looks realistic with how paint would be overlaid on top of wood. So I think I did see one, and so that looks pretty good. That doesn't look too, let me see, let me zoom up here. Yeah, it's not really bleeding through it. I kind of like the look of this. Even though we don't get the white, it still looks realistic. You can see the wood beneath the blue and the red. So I'm gonna diverge from the original image just a little bit by making it look like that. All right, so I've used multiply for that. Okay, so let's get back our UVs. So this is what's going to be on the front of it. Let's go ahead real quick, hide the UV layer, and let's save this. So Control, it's such a long shortcut. I mean, I try to say it. So File Save for Web is Alt Shift Control S, and I know that by heart, so I just do it quickly. Just overwrite the Ballot diffuse. Let's go back to Blender, and then just click on. Let me zoom up so you can see it. This folder right here. And you'll see now it has our very awesome every vote counts. All right. I think it would also be worth it to put a decal on the top, which kind of has like a pointy arrow to this, like insert your vote. So let's go over to Photoshop again. Zoom out here. Get our UV up. And this is the front. All right, so I'm gonna use like one of the custom shapes. So if you just left click and drag out over here, custom shape tool, and we can choose one of these arrows. You can make your own arrow if you want with the pen tool. I'm just gonna use this to make it quick. And I'm gonna use this middle one right here and hold shift and just scale it right around there. I'm gonna make it black, Control T, shift, and rotate it up. Select Move tool, hit apply. You can also adjust this, like if you don't want the tail like this, all we have to do is take the direct selection tool, left click, select those bottom ones, and hit the up arrow key if you want it to be a little bit shorter. So now what we'll do is, if you want to make this centered, left click and drag between the distance of these two UV points and hit center right here. So now we'll just put in your vote. We want to make it big enough so people can see it. So that's one error I made on the initial project. Just like that. All right. So now, we can add, if you want, you can add details on these other ones. And I kind of do. I want to add one on the right side, which is right here. And so, is there one available in the custom shape? No, there's not. So I didn't record this beforehand, so I'm just going to wing it right now. So what I'm going to do is zoom up here, and we're real quick. I think I'm going to take this every vote counts text right here, and I'm just going to take the top one, duplicate that, or you could right click and duplicate it, move it above, and I'm just going to drag it down here temporarily, and I'm going to put in your choices. Now, because we have a single line of text, we can go ahead and modify the warp options for this. So we want this to be readable, so... okay, the kids are yelling. Stop that, damn it. All right. I think I'm going to... yeah, right around there should be pretty good. I mean, that's pretty readable, so your choices, Control-T, and right around there. And then down here, I may make that a little bit smaller. Control-T, Shift and Alt. We'll leave it right around there. All right. And then now I'm going to use the ellipse tool. Shift. Oh, no. Left click, Shift, and we'll choose right around there. And it's the same color as the background, so that's why it's hard to see. What I want to do is over here, or by taking the direct selection tool, we can get rid of the fill by clicking on it and choosing this red slash, and then give it a stroke. And we'll make this one red, and then increase the stroke size. Right around there. Control-T, we can scale it up a little bit, holding Shift. So I've moved tool, hit apply. And then we'll take this text, duplicate it, or right click and duplicate on the layer. Idiot 1. All right, now this text is a little bit hard to read, so I think I'm going to get rid of that, the warp on it. Scale it down, and I may get rid of as well. Let me take off the effect here and make this red. And I may change the font as well, just so it's a little bit easier to see. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to leave this at Idiot 1 right there. I'm going to take these layers and then duplicate them. So those two layers, holding Shift, select both, left click, right click and duplicate them, or if you've set up a custom key like I have, oh man, I did the wrong ones. Let me delete those. It needs to just be this layer, yeah, and that. Okay, so it's these two layers. Duplicate them, move them over. We're going to change this to, oops, let me delete that. Idiot 1 needs to change to Idiot 2. The color needs to change to blue, as well as the stroke. Hit OK, and there. All right, so let's see here. I think that's, you know, I may want to make this black just so. And also get rid of the stroke there. All right. Now I'm going to hit Control-T. Yeah, that'll be good. Move to apply. Bring this down. All right, that's good. Okay, so those are the only decals I'm going to add. You know what? It would probably be worth it just to take all these layers right here, the decals, and put them over here as well on the left side. That way, if we want to render on either side, it shows the same thing. So what we'll do is, I think it's all these layers up here. I'm going to group those. Yep, that's them. So I'll change this to your choices real quick. Duplicate that. Move it over here. Very simple. All right, so now let's go ahead and hide our UV layer. Control S to save this, by the way. And take the UV, hide it. Save for web, file save for web. I just did the shortcut. Overwrite Ballot Diffuse, go back to Blender. And there we go. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to right click on this, join area, and get this joined over here. And we can do some more work getting this to look a little bit more realistic. So what I want to do now is I'm going to add a wall. So to kind of up right up against it. So I'm going to go to solid view. And I'm going to select just right around there. Shift A, mesh and plane. RX90 to get it up and down. And S and I don't know, 25. And so that looks like a decent distance. So let's go to rendered view to see what this looks like. All right. Pretty good. And I'm going to set up an emission plane, it's called. So by default, we have this one light over here, which is right there. I'm going to delete that. So now if we can hit rendered, we'll see it doesn't affect things too much. What really affects the lightness is over here in the world setting. So if we drag this down, yeah, we'll leave it right around here for now. I'm gonna go to solid. We can see our cameras like right around there. If we click, no, more like over here. No. If I hit 3 and click right there, 1. Yeah, it's right by the camera, which is fine. Shift A, mesh plane. And RX45. And we'll bring this over around there. And hit S2 to scale up by 2. And then we'll go ahead and go to materials, hit new. The surface is emission. Right there. And real quick, just so I can show you, go to rendered. Strength is 1, which is not very much. Hit 10. We'll see now it gets a little bit brighter. Now I would say that's too bright. So what we can do is scale this down a little bit. Try maybe 5. And we can also experiment between this value here and the world setting value. So if we drag this down and then we go back over here and then hit 10, you can see it gives us a little bit more shadows. All right, so I don't really like the way this is looking. This is looking like a strange, like aluminum type of material. So if we click on it, we right click it, and let's drag this down. We'll change this view to the node editor. This view can change to rendered. You can experiment with these values a little bit. So bringing it more towards the side of the diffuse will give you a certain look. Let's drag this to the right though and experiment with the roughness value. So if you try to change it to 0, you can see it completely makes it 100% reflective and glossy and strange looking. So if we try 0.1, that gives us a certain look. And so there's just a lot of different possibilities that you can use based on playing with these values. I think I'm going to leave mine right around there though. All right. All right, so let me right click this to join this area down. And now we still have a little bit of time. It's been about 19 minutes, so I'm going to add a floor right here. So this will be very easy. We're going to use cgtextures.com again. So if we go back here, switch back to cgtextures.com, you know, you can try to find any type of floor you want. I used the tiles section right over here last time. I'm going to see what floors give us. Might be okay to add. This might be interesting. Actually, you know what? I want to use just, I think I'm going to go back to tiles. It's going to make it a little bit easier. So if I choose plain tiles, I think I used, this looks pretty decent. I think I used the other one though, when I initially did it. So yeah, I'm just going to choose, well, yeah, 700 by 700. That's a perfect square. It just makes it real easy for us to work with. I'm going to use this. So I'm going to download that. I'm going to open this up real quick. Show in folder. Right click and open with Photoshop. And if you want to make changes to this in terms of color, you can go to image adjustments, hue and saturation, or come out here. If you go to Windows and then select, I think this is the adjustments area. Yeah, adjustments. You can add all of these, color balance, hue and saturation, if you want to give this a certain hue, if you want to make it more white, or no saturation, or a lot of saturation. That's completely up to you. I'm just going to leave it basically how it is, just to make things simple. And then save this real quick. And we're going to call this floor dash diffuse. Okay, so let's go back to Blender. All right, so the floor right here is this option. Let me go to solid view, and we can see it's massive, but we can tile the actual floor diffuse JPG that we saved. So first, if you're adding any texture, remember you have to unwrap it. Now, because this is a square and it's very simple, all we have to do is go to tab in the edit mode with it selected, make sure everything is selected, hit A and A again just to make sure it's toggled on. U, unwrap. We don't have to bring out the unwrap window because we know it's going to work. Now, let's go ahead real quick and add a, okay, so there's already a mix shader added to this. I'm going to just click on this and I'm just going to call this floor. And we're going to make this just, yeah, we'll leave it as a mixed shader. So what we want to do is drag this down, change to UV image editor, and node editor. And what we'll do is hit Shift A, texture, image texture, connect this to the diffuse color, hit open, and where am I at? First I gotta save this correctly. Floor diffuse, right there. All right, so now if we view this thing, it's gonna look messed up. Let's duplicate this, Shift D, add it to this one as well. So watch what happens when we go to rendered. It's absolutely way too massive. So that's because this is a large object, but we can basically multiply this. So what we can do is scale over here. If we click on this option right here, okay, so these are all changed to 50 by 50 by 50 for the X, Y, and Z on scale with this image texture selected. But it didn't really seem like it made a change, but it actually did. You'll see them in here. But we have two of these, so we have to click on this one and change this to 50, 50, and 50. Hit enter. Now we have a floor. A glossy sort of floor, basically. And you can play around with these values too. Turn this up, it gets real glossy. Doesn't kind of look too realistic. So somewhere in the middle probably will work decently. All right, so let me right click, join area, down. All right, and if you want the wall to line up to the edge of one of these, which would probably be worth it, let's go to, real quick, it's currently selected, but we're in edit mode, hit tab to go to object mode. And what we can do is go back to rendered, and we can see it's kind of like in the middle of one of these or off to the side right here. Hit G and Y to move it, and move it just left a little bit. So if we get in real close, G, Y, there, right there is perfect. Now it lines up with this wall. It looks a little bit more realistic, basically. All right, and you can also select the wall here. That doesn't even have a texture, I believe. So you hit New, and it's diffuse. We can change it to some type of off-white color if you want to, or go crazy, which is this is a little strange. But yeah, you can experiment. I'm gonna make mine just more towards the yellow end, but nothing too crazy. I think right there. All right, we're already at 26 minutes, so we're going to end this here, and then in the next lesson, we're going to go ahead, or tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and add a flag and do some cool cloth simulation. All right, so I'll see you then. All right, goodbye.